My name is Glynis Johns. I am born and raised here in the city of Scranton. I'm also the founder and CEO of the Black Scranton Project, the director of the Center for Arts and Culture here as well. I guess we can start my story in 2019. I'd finished grad school at this point. I'd moved back from New York City to Scranton, Pennsylvania, with the hopes that I can start sharing my graduate research, which was about the Black community and how we had been seen as transient, othered, non-existent in the city of Scranton. And as a lifelong resident born and raised here in Scranton, I wasn't content with leaving all of the richness that I had found in our archive and our history just to myself. So I moved back here and I decided to start sharing local history. I knew we've never had any local history exhibits, haven't celebrated Black History Month in a local context, so I rented out a storefront in the Steamtown Mall and transformed it into a local exhibit of all of the things I had found and collected up until that point. Old newspapers, photographs, anything that I wanted and could display of the Black community, including local art. And that was February of 2019. So I had the storefront for about 8 weeks, and over the course of that time, there was over 1,200 people who visited the Center for Arts and Culture to experience our local Black history exhibit from the lens of myself. And this is months before Black Scranton even became a nonprofit. So yeah, every day I would just tally the folks coming in, just simply, if you walked in the door, I had a notepad and I would just put a little dash in my notebook every day that people walked in. And over the course of that 8 weeks, we saw 1,200 people stop by and visit the exhibit. And as a sociologist who studies statistics, that's 2% of Scranton's actual population. So for me, it just felt very significant and important to the community that we had this many folks stop by and enjoy the work that was uncovered by me. So by the time the summer rolls around, we celebrate our first Juneteenth. Shortly after the Juneteenth wraps, we had been working on becoming a nonprofit, and we became incorporated as a nonprofit, Black Scranton, on Juneteenth of 2019. So that was also a really great milestone. Fast forward to 2020, we see what happened with George Floyd, Sandra Bland, and the Black Lives Matter movement. So during that time, there was a lot of action happening in the city of Scranton, people not knowing what to do, how to, stand up for the rights of people of color. And we were also getting a lot of support at that time because people wanted to invest into Black arts, Black culture, Black nonprofits and things. So we were getting a lot of support. PNC was one of our partners for different events. They were donating things to us, supporting events. And at the same time, I was looking for a place to house all of the artifacts and the collections and the art that I wanted to share with the community. And I'd been trying to rent out storefronts, but no one was really trying to rent anything to us. So I knew the entire landscape of the available real estate, and PNC was getting rid of one of their bank facilities. And so I approached them and said, hey, I know you don't want this property, and I know you've already been supporting our nonprofit in a lot of ways financially, but would you consider donating this facility that you no longer use to our nonprofit? And then at the time, they're like, we'll see. Maybe if you have a proposal, do you have a legal team? I said I had a legal team and I could work on a proposal. So this was the summertime. And they said in August, by the end of the month, send us a proposal and we can see if this is something we could do. So I spent hours upon hours every day while I should have been working on my PhD in grad school. I set that aside to work on this proposal. And every day I spent like maybe 13, 14 hours a night just poring over this, because I knew if I can write them a really detailed, beautiful proposal, that could be the $250,000 that the property is worth if they're considering donating it to us. So at the end of the month, I submitted the proposal. About 9 months later, April 1st of 2021, we acquired the beautiful Black Scranton Project Center for Arts and Culture, an almost 100-year-old bank that we are now converting into a community space that will house art, events, community, anything we really want to see is going to happen here and is happening here. And during doing all of this, every day that I was working on this proposal, when I was back home in Scranton, and in between the limbo space between getting the property and just waiting, I would drive past this building every single day because I knew if I couldn't even drive past this building every day, I couldn't envision myself then wanting to be here to nurture an arts and culture space. So every day I drove past this building until closing day. And here we are 5 years later, 2025, and we're still here. I'm still here every single day. So I felt in that moment too that this is something that is not, it's obtainable. I don't think big dreams are unobtainable. I think it's a mindset, and the more that you can envision it in for yourself, you're more likely to be able to create it into your own reality. But if you have a dream, you have the ability and you have the talent, you could go after it and do anything. So I think that's one thing that arise from the work that I'm doing. And growing up, my dad would always tell me, like, you don't have to, give what you can every single day. If it's 100%, give 100%. If you only can do 40%, give that 40%, but give your all. He taught me to never be a quitter and to fulfill things 100%. And that has been something that has always stuck with me. So when my dad passed away in 2015, while I was working on all of the work that transpired into Black Scranton, I always knew, like, no matter what I committed myself to, I was always going to put my best foot into it. I was always going to do the absolute best that I can. And my dad passed away in 2015. I was obviously crushed, especially if you lose a loved one unexpectedly. It's really hard to process and go through. So on my healing journey, I decided that I wanted to get a tattoo to honor his memory. My dad passed away from heart failure. He had a lot of heart conditions, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, you name it. He was going through it. He was on the waiting list for a heart transplant, but didn't actually get it in time. But I always admired my father because no matter what he was doing, you would never be able to tell that he had a 20% functioning heart. And I can't even imagine what that's like, because most of us just live with our heart working at its full capacity. So yeah, I decided to get a tattoo to honor his memory. And the only way that I can think to is to get hearts. And he's always been my heart. And I just needed something that could remind me of my father. He loved video games, so he would take me and my twin brother to go buy video games. Anytime we wanted to play something, he would be right there with us and encouraging us to, like, when you get frustrated, to keep going through. So I loved playing Legends of Zelda, just any sort of 90s video game, especially if it's like Super Nintendo. So I decided to get the Zelda hearts on my arm to represent my dad, myself, and my brother. And the last heart of this 3 series is half full, to represent my dad and him persevering no matter what through all of his heart problems. So while I was going to get that tattoo, I took my mom with me. She wasn't a huge fan of tattoo and ink at the time. And I was just like, Mom, please, I really want to go. I want to get this tattoo so badly. I just want to get a tattoo for my dad. Can you come with me? So she comes with me. We go to Electric City's Tattoo, which is downtown, where I got my first tattoo. We go there, and laying down, just getting the tattoo on my arm, and my mom's sitting behind me, and she's just like looking at the room and the space and just being there. And she notices that there is a poster on the wall. And the poster is like an image or an ad of like the type of ink that they use. And my mom was like, where did you get this poster? That's really interesting, the name, the title of this. And they said to her, oh yeah, this type of ink that we use for all of our tattoos. It's the company that we, work with. And the type of ink that they use is called Waverly ink, which is my dad's name. And so for me, it was just such a full circle moment to be like, my dad is literally in me. He's my heart. This tattoo is for him. And I just felt like he was accepting and happy that I was doing something to honor him. And my dad wasn't a huge fan of any tattoos or the tattoos that I've had, but so this really was a marker of him being like, okay, I see that you needed this. I see that this is going to help you and help you get through, my unexpected leave of this earth. So yeah, it's one of my favorite tattoos now, and it's always a reminder to me, again, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're at 100% or not. Give your all. You're never going to be on E. If there's something that you want to do, there's going to be a way for you to do it, to complete it. And no matter what you do, you can do it with love and kindness and yourself. And so that has always been my drive for myself and everything I do and everything that I do at Black Scranton Project. goes right back into those principles as, is it something that I care about? Is it something the community will care about? Am I putting myself into it today? How much am I putting into it today? Because running a community center with a very small team is definitely not for the faint of heart. And so my dad lives on with me, and he's been one of my favorite people. He's been one of my biggest cheerleaders in life, and I still feel like he is still one of my biggest cheerleaders. And even with his passing, I've learned so many things. I've connected with so many more people to the community and found how much I love Scranton and Black Scranton. And that wouldn't have even been possible if it wasn't for my dad passing away, honestly. I wouldn't have been able to uncover a lot of the things that I've learned. Honestly, I wouldn't even be back in Scranton. I probably would have stayed in New York City and done something, I don't know. So that's my story.